In this video, I'm going to show you the exact way to measure, mix, and pour epoxy. Stick around to the end and I'll give you the top 3 tips I really wish I knew before I ever touched this stuff. Let's get into the project. I've already milled and cut this maple down, and as you can see, they've got some nice character, perfect for a river pour. I'm thinking of a deep, rich color for the epoxy to really contrast with the lighter tones in the maple. Let's figure out how much epoxy you need and the 2 easy ways to do this. Option 1, I'm going to measure out 5 widths across the piece, add them up, divide by 5 and get the average width. Multiply that by your length and then your depth and you get the cubic inches. Because my mixing cups are in ounces, I'll need to convert the cubic inches to ounces. I'll just ask ChatGPT and it does the math for me. Option 2, fill the mold with rice. Pour the rice into the empty space, then dump it into your mixing container. That shows you exactly how much epoxy you'll need. Now before we start mixing, this is important. Make sure you're using the right epoxy for your project. For this build, I'm using a deep pour epoxy from Ultra Clear Epoxy. A huge shout out for them for sponsoring this video and sending me this kit. Their epoxy is super easy to work with, made in the USA, and has 0 VOCs, which is a big win in my book.
That's what I call high quality H2O.
Even though it's 0 VOC, I still recommend wearing a respirator with a vapor cartridge when mixing. I'll start by pouring 2 parts of the epoxy resin, followed by 1 part of hardener. Make sure you're following the mix ratio exactly. It's critical for a proper cure.
I set the rules and you follow them blindly.
Now I'll mix this for about 3 to 4 minutes, making sure to scrape the sides and bottom of the container. You want a consistent mix throughout, no streaks or unmixed resin. You'll notice the epoxy looks cloudy at first, but as you keep mixing, it'll start to clear up. That's a good sign that everything is coming together properly. To make sure nothing's stuck unmixed to the container walls, I'm going to pour this mix into a second clean container. This is a great way to catch any resin that might have been clinging to the sides. Now it's time to add pigment. I'm using a micro powder from Black Diamond Pigments. This one's called Cobalt Blue, a bold, solid color that gives a great contrast against the maple. Add pigment based on how translucent or solid you want the final pour. I'm going for a solid blue, so I'm using a generous amount here. Just remember, you can always add more pigment, but you can't take it out. I'll mix this again for a couple minutes, making sure to fully incorporate the pigment. Scrape the sides and bottom again. Mica powder can clump up if you're not careful. Now that it's fully mixed and smooth, it's ready to pour. But first, as promised, here are the 3 things I wish I knew before I ever started working with epoxy. These tips will help you save time, money, and a lot of frustration. Tip 1. Use the right epoxy for your application. Tabletop epoxy is great for thin coats up to 1/4 inch. For thicker pours, use deep pour epoxy. Each has a max depth, and going past it can cause overheating and curing issues. Tip 2. Epoxy temperatures. Epoxy works best at the right temperature. If it's too cold, it's thick, hard to mix, and traps excess bubbles. This epoxy works best between the temperatures of 70 to 85 degrees. Pro tip, to raise the epoxy temperature, I set the bottles in warm water before mixing. This makes it easier to mix and cuts down on the bubbles. Tip 3. When should you swirl epoxy? This is the number 1 question I get on my channels on social media, and let me show you exactly how I do it.
After mixing, I'll let the epoxy sit for a couple of minutes, then torch any bubbles that rise to the surface. Before pouring, I always spray a mold release. This helps extend the life of my silicone mold and makes it way easier to demold later. Next, I drop in my maple pieces and clamp them down. This keeps them from floating when the epoxy gets poured. I'll pour the epoxy in 1/4 inch layers, heating between each one to pop bubbles and reduce the chance of microbubbles getting trapped inside. If this video has been helpful so far, make sure you like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss the full build. It's coming up in the next video. The epoxy's in, the bubbles are out, and everything looks perfect. For now. But with epoxy, timing is everything, and I learned this the hard way. Now remember tip number 3, when to swirl. This is where I messed up. After 6 hours, the edges were still soft, but the center was too hard to swirl. I needed a plan B.
And I knew exactly what to do, but in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do.
So I just let that layer set up and came back the next day to pour one more layer. This time I swirled before it was too late. Don't miss the full build of this serving tray coming soon.